So today, for the first time in my entire life, so over the last 20 years, for the first time in my entire life, so a guy came up to me at the swimming pool and asked me to go for a drink. And I was telling this guy, you are the first person who's ever talked to me at the swimming pool. And he's like, hang on, I didn't talk to you. You talked to me. If you're listening and you're like, why don't I meet men at the swimming pool? Here is why. So the way that I started this conversation with him, it wasn't intentional. He was using a noodle, a pool noodle in my lane. I was like, who is this guy? In a public swimming pool with a noodle. So I told him, I was like, dude, this noodle thing is not working out. You need to stop. It's annoying everyone. And I think he was just really surprised because men are by nature, they're competitive, they're hunters. And so for a man, if you tell him, don't do this, it's a direct challenge, right? So he's going to go into his masculine energy and be like, what did she just say? But I was super nice about it. And I smiled and I was like, look, like, I know you want to swim with your noodle. I get it. But can you not? And then he explained to me that he had some injury, blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, oh, I'm sorry about your injury. Like, where did you get hurt? So I was super nice. I stayed in my feminine energy. And that made him realize, like, hey, here's a nice woman who I'm feeling comfortable and safe with. Tip number one. So the second thing is that a guy is going to try and talk to you to scope out if you're a nice person and if you're reasonable to talk to, if he just feels comfortable talking to you. So this guy kept trying to talk to me. He would make like really stupid, uninteresting comments. He was not that special, but he was really nice and he was funny. He was, as many guys do, trying to make some silly jokes. And I laughed. He talked to me, he smiled at me, I smiled back. When he made his jokes, I laughed because I found them funny. And that was it. Like, it's really that simple when a guy is talking to you, whether it's a swimming pool or the gym or at the office. Like, guys are most of the time going to try a joke on you. And if you're like a lot of women, you might not laugh, but hello, laugh. Like, it's so important for guys. It validates their self-esteem, it validates their self-worth, and it tells them that they can be safe with you. They can open up because you laughed at their joke. It's really that simple. So the number three thing, so the guy's like, oh, I'm leaving the pool now. And I'm like, yeah, me too. But then I was like, no, I actually want to swim more. So I didn't leave. And at one point I was taking a break from doing my laps and he comes up and he's like trying to talk to me. And I was like, I could have said, dude, I'm not interested, goodbye, and gone and swum my laps. So I thought, here's a nice human being trying to make conversation with me. Let's see what he has to offer. So he sat down next to the pool. He was probably freezing and started having this long, random conversation with me where he told me about his life and asked about my life and what do you do and yada, yada, yada. And when I told him that I was a love coach, he said, I'm looking for a wife. Men will tell you that they want to get married if you give them the opportunity. So I didn't ask him. I didn't initiate a real conversation with him. I just told him, get your noodle out of my way. And it turned into him saying, I'm looking for a wife. Do you want to grab a drink sometime? Super simple, really nice guy, lives in my neighborhood.